Perfect.
All right. And we have headphones. You can wear them if you want. I will just make sure nothing bad happens.
So we match and look like we're on a podcast.
Yes. The aesthetic of the podcast.
Exactly. There's a look we're going for.
Okay. Hello there. My name is Sandy, and I'm the host of the Golden Bohemians podcast, a podcast dedicated to exploring the minds and works of Calgarian artists to prove that beauty and creativity can happen anywhere. Our guest on this podcast today will be Katie Fournell, who is the festival director of the Okotoks International Film Festival, and someone who has not only seen me grow as a filmmaker since the very beginning, but is very near and dear to my heart. Getting the opportunity to watch Katie shine as she hosted the last festival really highlighted just how professional, bubbly, and charismatic she is in front of a crowd. While not living in Calgary, I just had to have her on the podcast on account of all the work she has done to foster the Okotoks film community and create meaningful, impactful change on the people around her. Welcome to the podcast, Katie.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Lovely. My heart's so full.
I hate that I messed it up. I know I sometimes mumble on them, and I knew I was going to do that. The whole, watched and worked.
Yep. That's okay. That's how it goes.
It happens. But yeah, so obviously I first want to preface, Katie does not live in Calgary, but the reason I just had to have her on the podcast was because the work that she does in Okotoks, and specifically with the Okotoks Film Festival, is exactly what the message of this podcast is, which is that you can go anywhere, create art there, and foster that community. And sometimes that's better than just leaving somewhere else and try to I don't know. It's better to just build where you are, you know?
Yeah, sometimes there is definitely something to going to where there is a big pool, but if you want to be a leader in arts, there's almost a way that you can get ahead faster.
Yeah.
If you're somewhere where you're creating it first.
Yeah.
And then building other people up to see that community come alive and giving people the tools to do it themselves means that it'll continue to grow in those areas.
Yeah.
But you can't knock the fact that it's easier to get in the first place somewhere like Calgary, where there is such a strong infrastructure in many ways already created. Everywhere can use support and everything like that. But
I truly believe I wouldn't be as far as I was if it weren't for your work, creating that. Because you took that first step, I got to feel like I could start off in an easier way because you did that first step. You walked so I could run, in other words.
Exactly. That's kind of what my goal is exactly that. Building up other artists. And it's kind of interesting because originally that wasn't necessarily my goal, but it very quickly changed to, I'm like, no, I like supporting other people and building other people up. And that is what makes me excited, is seeing the huge leaps that filmmakers that I've worked with in the past have taken.
Yeah. So I did do a bit of journalistic research, as I like to do on these. I like to know the people. I tried to do not too much with you just because I really do, we've talked, in person multiple times. I've seen you work, you've seen my work. We have, a little bit of that relationship already established.
Yeah.
But obviously, I did, look on the website, and I was like, okay, festival about. And it said that you first originated in Edmonton, though.
Yes.
Right. And then you came to Okotoks, saw that there wasn't, enough support for filmmakers here, and then you created the Okotoks International Film Festival.
Yeah, so it's kind of like my love story. That's how I ended up in Okotoks. Because my now husband, who runs the festival in many respects with me, he was basically, he lived in Okotoks. I lived in Edmonton, and he's like, how do I get you to move here? And I was like, I'm a film and theater artist. Why would I move to Okotoks? And then I actually attended the Edmonton Short Film Festival, their first year of that festival. And one of the things, it was just a throwaway line that one of the hosts of the event said, was we were sitting around a campfire, and I said, we should start a film or there's no film festival for this. And somebody else said, well, why don't we just start one? And so we did.
Cut to nearly 10 years later.
Exactly. I decided, 10 years, that was actually within the next year, because I was already having the conversations with Brendan about me moving down, and he was completely open to the idea. I kind of said the joke was, we have to move out and get our own place, and we need to start a film festival. Those are my conditions for moving down.
That's the only thing I'll go.
All right, cool.
And you want something, you get it done.
Exactly. And so that's how the film festival started, and then that kind of led to other works that followed suit. I joined a company called Gujar Pink Family Theater for a while. Unfortunately, that company was not able to sustain just because of life getting in the way of the artistic
COVID
director.
Get in the
No,
way?
It was definitely just the artistic director having her life catching up to her and all of her dreams coming true. But that meaning that this little thing had to go.
Yeah.
And then now the Erratic Players. So it's like, because I started one company, it doesn't seem hard to start another project. And, and we have a joke that I collect too many projects, and many people have jokes that they're like, you need to not do as many things as you're
Chill
doing.
for like 2
Can
seconds.
we say no on that one? Actually, my partner in Erratic Players, he even said, I said, so we've got this coming up, and this coming up, and this coming up, and this coming up, and this coming up. Can you answer this question, this question, this question? Also, is there anything you want to do? And he's like, I don't know, sleep.
Like a break would be nice, maybe. Oh my God. But okay, so it was really, it really interests me the fact that you saw the Edmonton Short Film Festival on its very first year.
Yeah.
Did that, like, seeing it so, like, fresh and, like, everyone's still kind of figuring things out and, like, getting it going inspire you to kind of, like, okay, I could get that?
I think it showed me the attainable.
Okay.
Because they put on a great first festival. They were completely sold out for their one-night screening. It was nuts. But there is something, I think, in seeing people so open. Because when you're first starting, you're okay with telling people kind of the backdoor things that you kind of start to keep secret after a while, because it's like, well, how does our social media run? Well, me, but now we're bringing on a social media manager, and like how the things slowly get bigger to the point where it's like, oh, I'm actually managing a huge team. Yeah. But when they were doing it, it was, 6 people in a dream. Yeah. And so it kind of seemed like, oh, that's something I can do. And that's something that I think the Okotoks Film Festival, kind of like the first year of the Okotoks Film Festival, completely different. Really? It was just like 3 volunteers in a room, pressing play. We didn't even have like careful checks on aspect ratio and stuff like that. It was all just a little. And so it was like everything was changing size, and we were trying to fight with lighting, and it was like, oh, how do we get ticket sales? Everything, we were kind of just like open books for that. And the same was true with the Short Film Festival. Yeah. Whereas once the festivals get a bit older, they start to, it's like, oh no, it's just a machine. Like that's just how it works. Like at that time I was like, how do I watch a film? How do I decide if the film's good enough? Now I can watch 15 seconds and I'm like, maybe.
No, yes, no.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
It becomes, I guess more like, you get more experience with it. You kind of like know what's up.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember that everybody who looks like they know what they're doing, first of all, probably actually doesn't under the surface. Everybody has imposter syndrome. I know I do on a regular basis. And also, at some point, they didn't. Like, even if you're coming to them for the answers and you're like, oh, this person knows all the answers. Like, it's like, well, once you ask, now you know the answer.
Yeah, so now you can be the person.
Exactly, exactly. So everybody can become like the head of any organization. And if you start a teeny tiny organization with 3 friends, it can become a huge, big thing. Yeah.
So you first started as a filmmaker. You didn't start festival director and then became filmmaker from there. So actually, I have them. I Got You a Balloon and Be the Hero. Yes. Those were films that you made?
I did, yes.
Directed, produced?
So Be the Hero I didn't direct. I acted in and produced that one. Okay. And then I Got You a Balloon I wrote, directed, and produced. Okay. And it's kind of funny that since starting a film festival, I don't make films all that often anymore. Interesting. Now my own personal art is theater art, whereas the film is more putting on the films and stuff like that. But I think some of that comes from an interesting place where this is something that's always affected me personally. Yeah. Where when I see people who are significantly better than me often enough, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to let you do it. And so, Be the Hero and I Got You a Balloon were films that I made. I Got You a Balloon, I was just leaving Vancouver because I lived in Vancouver for a couple of years and then moved back to Edmonton. Oh, cool. And then lived in Edmonton for 2 years. So they kind of came out within like 2 years of each other, those 2 films. I got you a balloon I made just because I had this weird story in my head of a boy walking around with a balloon.
Yeah. What's it about? I never got to like go that far with it.
So it shows my, the like, I love cute things.
Yeah.
It's basically a story about a boy who just bought a balloon and he's bringing it to a girl's house. And then as he's doing that, he's walking through a bunch of people and all the people are doing like nice things for each other.
Yeah.
So it's all these random acts of kindness as he's trying to do one.
Yeah.
And then he goes to her house and he ends up just tying the balloon outside of her window instead, because it's all like, no, I'm just doing this because I want to do something nice for you. And then he shows it by just tying it.
Yeah, a simple act instead of like, now tell me thank you.
Exactly. Now you owe me something.
Now where's my prize?
And so then he ties it and he leaves.
Yeah.
But then the balloon comes loose and floats up into the sky.
Oh, no.
And everybody that he passed along the way then sees the balloon and gets the little bit of like, oh, that's so sweet. Don't worry, the girl does see the balloon.
Okay,
she does see it.
I was like, oh, no.
And so she doesn't get to keep it in that way. It's something that he actually gave to everybody that he saw doing these nice things along the way. It's just a random acts of kindness film, I guess.
It's like a feel-good kind of, right?
Exactly. That's the idea.
I love that. I feel like we see a lot of dramas, a lot of horror, like for indie, because it's like horror, it's easier. I've heard.
Yes, it's kind of funny because I feel like horror is seen as being easy on the budget, but actually, like, you then have to buy blood.
Yeah.
Blood is not cheap.
And you could make it, but that never turns out right.
Exactly. Like, you're staining everything. You owe, like, people money.
But every filmmaker's gotta play with blood at some point.
You have to.
That is like a rite of passage.
I have a jug of blood in my bathroom that just is always there.
I have some in my room.
Exactly. Jug of blood.
We all just have blood. But what was I gonna say? It's really nice when like, and that's why I love doing comedy. Like I like making people laugh. I like I like upbeat stuff, I guess, more than like the non-upbeat stuff. And also just because I feel I wouldn't be, I don't know, I have trouble with it. I have trouble with like when it's not jokes and it's not like, but it's like, I'm forgetting the word.
I know what you mean, like the drama of it and the
trying to get people to feel emotions that are sad or
like kind of impose that on people.
Yeah.
As you were saying that, you reminded me of a thing that I was told once, which is like picture comedies as dramas and your dramas as comedies.
Oh.
Just as an experiment to see if the show runs a different way or if you can find something more truthful in the beats in a way. Yeah. Because it's like comedy is honest. We are honestly funny with each other. Like when you're just in conversation, everybody's trying to get the joke in. But then also with drama, it's like that's just real. Like those are real emotions and stuff like that. So I know what you mean though. But that there's an emotion that it's like this is the one I want the audience to feel. Yeah. Like this is what I want them to latch onto, and you want to give them that. And some people they love to make the audience cry. They're like, I just want to tear their hearts out. And I'm like, I get that. I get why you want to do that because you feel like you moved something. But I think I'm with you in there's something about moving them in an optimistic direction that feels more rewarding in a way than watching an audience walk out crying.
And they're just like bummed out.
Exactly. There was one year of the Oscar shorts. So we show the Oscar nominated shorts every year.
Yeah.
And we got a message from the company who runs it, Shorts HD, sent us a thing. And it was like a little blurb and it just said, this year is dark. Like I can't stress enough.
This year,
the year,
this whole thing
that
is
it
dark.
Happened. It was like the films are dark. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do about it because it's just the films that got nominated for the Oscar.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, how bad can it be? But we did give the warning because they kind of were like, tell your audience this year is dark. And so then we told the audience, we're like, just so you know, the films that you're about to watch are dark. And I've never seen an audience so negatively affected by a package of films that I showed. They would come out just silent. Like nobody wanted to talk about anything. And everybody was like, yeah, they were good films. And it was like they were shell-shocked. And I was like, okay.
That's really funny because I got to attend the Okotoks Film Festival and I saw you up there and I know how you are as a host. You're like bubbly. You're like, so I imagine you just running back on and being like, hey guys,
how was everything?
And they're like,
nothing. Okay.
Blank student.
See you later. Actually, that's been a couple of times. Something in programming that we learned very early on. This was something that we learned first year of programming. is exactly that. Like, how are you leaving the audience?
Yeah.
And we will always try and end with an uplifting swing at the end of our shorts packages. That doesn't mean I'm not going to show you the one that's going to tear your heart out, because those films are great and they're beautiful. And like you were talking about, it's like the emotion. Yeah. Just dig in with it. But we always try to leave them on an upswing so that I don't have to go up there and talk to an audience. Like, you good?
Try to change things up while it's already been. Yeah, but okay. I was going to ask about hosting then, because festival directing and festival hosting aren't the same, I'm assuming. I don't know a lot about this, but I'm assuming.
They're similar. It's definitely the world of festival directors who have to host their festivals is very, very large. Yeah. Like, most of them end up having to do that. Kind
of like how filmmakers usually have to also write and direct and edit.
You have to wear all the hats. And it's kind of just because it's like, oh, you become the face of the festival. And that's sort of what happened with Off, is that it was immediately like, oh, well, Katie's the face of it. Yeah. And so the directing side is more picking what packages we're going to show, picking like how we're going to approach things. Are we focusing on specific filmmakers? Like what are we choosing to make our focus? What events are we bringing? What parties are we going to have? Like, it's more navigating the logistics and also the like, this is the idea. This is what we want to do. Yeah. For example, last year we tried for the first time a slogan, and I was like, we had to come up with a slogan of the film is a thrill ride, and how are we going to do that? And so there's a lot of that on the directing side of it, and then that's where the programming comes, the hiring the people that are going to do it. And I could hire an MC, like, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with festival directors doing that. Yeah. It's just we happen to get lucky from our first year is that my training actually is in acting first.
Perfect.
So
made for the stage.
Exactly. So I'm like, I can go on stage. I can talk.
Choose me. I can do it.
It was kind of interesting the first year, though, because I found out how much harder it is to talk as yourself than it is to talk as a character. Oh. And so there is kind of, and I think this is, shattering the glass on every MC you've ever seen ever. Oh, no. There's a character there, too. That's not exactly who they are. I know. It's like,
Katie, I expected the same exact person I saw on that stage on this podcast.
As bubbly always.
No, but that makes sense.
And there is, because that's the interesting thing about hosting the festival and being the festival director. The festival director is putting out fires. And between myself and Anne-Marie, who's my general manager, we're like, how do we deal with this fire? How do we deal with this fire? But when you're also the host, you are the one who also has to be up there and be like, everything's fine.
Things are not crumbling behind the scenes.
The artist did not show up that we were expecting, but
oh my God.
This festival is going on anyway. Like, and you just have to like grin through it even when things are going sideways, which I will say things don't go sideways very often. We've been very, very fortunate. Nice. And the sideways they've gone is like, slightly askew.
the way things sometimes will go sideways.
Exactly. But that is definitely something that having to go up and just lie. This is exactly what we expected to happen.
What was the craziest thing that you think happened while you were up there, or that that happened and then you had to go up there and pretend it didn't happen?
Oh, that one's easy, actually. Okay. It was the second year, I believe, the second year of the 48-hour challenge. Okay. And we'd done 3 days of festival already. Everything was running fine. There was no problems. And the way we do the 48-hour challenge with the Camry and everything like that, that is not what it used to be. It was like one screen, we show the films, I go up with a mic and I say, this is who won, and we're done.
Yeah, for those, sorry, I want to explain that whole what you were talking about, the Camry.
For sure, yeah, please, go for it.
It was because I had a film in the 48-hour for this last festival too, and basically what they have is two different theaters. And they filled them both to the brim. And then they have one of them where Katie's actually live and then talking. And then the other one where they have it on the screen and you can also see Katie live, but through the screen from the other. You can hear from each room, and she'll do a thing where it's like, can you hear me? And from the other room you'll hear
I love it. That's one of my favorite things. That laugh that you see when I do that's real.
It's that is you.
Genuine. I think that's the funniest joke ever.
Okay, sorry. So yes, anyway, continue with you.
The Camry, I guess, quickly to explain that, is my general manager, Anne-Marie.
Oh, is that not the name
That's not
of the
official
camera?
name of the camera. That's the name of her.
So not a Camry. I was like, Camry, I guess, is just a camera.
Yeah, that must be the camera you use. No. We also, because I'm projected on both screens. But then we switch over to the Cam-Marie, which is somebody following Anne-Marie around on a Zoom call.
Cam-Marie, Anne-Marie, Cam. There we go.
Because she does all of the running to give the awards so that people don't have to run. She runs, and she's hilarious about it. There's costumes and confetti poppers.
It was like probably one of my favorite parts of the whole festival. I was like,
but back to the crazy year.
Yes, back to what happened.
And it was kind of when we started to realize how much fun we could have with the 48-hour by accident. My general manager at the time, Eli, they kept saying, they're like, you should tell everybody that we have this secret power. And I'm like, don't tell people about this. Because something happened right as the films were about to start, and the screen just cut.
Oh, no.
And we didn't have anything on screen.
On either screen? Or it was just
the one screen at that time. And nothing. There's nothing.
Oh, my God.
And so Brendan said, go talk to everybody.
Network.
Okay. So I ended up, and I grabbed a mic, and I just started, we thought I was going to fill like 5 minutes, maybe max. But I ended up basically doing an accidental stand-up routine for about 45 minutes.
Oh, my God. 45 minutes?
Well, they had to do all of this whole tech overhaul.
That is the Netflix special. That's not a tight 5.
Right.
That is you going up and should have filmed it and thrown it, sent it to Netflix.
And it was so funny because I kept thinking, come on, we're almost done. We got to be almost done. And I'm like, okay, so who got this genre? And then that ran out real fast. So it ended up just me joking about the festival and making jokes about the festival that we'd had and just talking for 45 minutes.
And that's what you have to do.
And I'm like, I'm not helping solve the problem. But this is where we are. So
if anything, you're helping to damage control the problem.
Exactly.
Because now the audience doesn't have to sit there and a black screen.
It's not like they're very aware. I mean, they were very aware that something was wrong, but less aware and still entertained, I hope.
Yes.
A lot of people were saying, they're like, oh, your stand-up routine was great. And I'm like, yeah, I never want to do that again.
Thanks. Stand-up is a little bit like acting, no? There is that persona you put on. I've been trying to do a little bit of it, so I'm
nice.
I don't know. I'm not good yet, but it is fun to go up there and try to but it's hard.
It's hard.
45 minutes is insane.
Very forgiving audience at the 48-hour, I gotta say. So they were also very kind to me.
Yeah.
They would laugh at bad jokes because they're like, this woman is struggling.
We're gonna just smile and nod. Well, yeah, that's what you have to do sometimes, though.
Yeah.
So I would say you saved the day, but
no, thanks.
They figured it out eventually
They did.
after 45 minutes, and they're like, you can come down now.
They're like, and now we're gonna start. I think the screen just started behind me, and I was like, goodbye.
I was also wondering what was maybe the best thing or the coolest thing that happened while you were up there.
While I was up there, that one's kind of tricky. I do really enjoy the Q&As. I love when there's things that can happen during the Q&As that are because it is improvised and it's the honest answers from the filmmakers and stuff. And I think it feels, I don't know if it's recency biased or if this actually is one of the best things that happened. Yeah. But this past festival, we had Nigeria as our country highlight.
I was there.
And that Q&A, I just... at first I thought I stepped in it because I asked a question that was a little bit testy with the filmmakers about Nigerian filmmakers not seeming to make films in Nigeria because all of the films that we'd had submitted. And I was just asking curiously, is there a reason for that? Yeah. And then it was interesting the different perspectives of the 3 filmmakers we had on stage. Yeah. And then it just became kind of a deep conversation between the 3 of them that they were having in front of everybody, just very honestly.
I think I remember there was a time where one of the filmmakers, he was on the big screen.
Yeah.
And then there was this guy who came out with the mic and he was talking to it was almost kind of Renaissance too, because it was this huge screen.
Yeah, talking to this big man.
And he's you inspired me so, and he's looking up at him and he's you inspired me so much. It was incredible. I thank you so much for this film. Thank you for the film.
And that guy was
him.
wild because he was actually one of our artists that we'd brought in.
Oh, really?
For the Nigerian highlight, there was a bunch of art in the lobby that was all his art.
Yeah.
And what was crazy is the film so we had the 3 filmmakers come up, do the Q&A, and the Q&A like was really like they were talking about really deep things. And so it kind of primed the audience that, okay, we can go a little bit deeper, which usually doesn't happen with the Q&A. Usually it's pretty like, you know, why did you pick this location? How did you find this actor? And it's this love story to the film, right? But they kind of dug a little bit deeper into like the reasons they make film and what they make film about. Yeah. And so by the time the next artist came on, because we do the live Q&As through Zoom, and he was actually in the States. And so Goga came on the screen, and Jorah, who was sitting in the audience, grabbed the mic, and Goga's film was about the riots that happened in 2020 in Nigeria.
Yes. I remember that film. It was incredible.
It was gorgeous
my God.
and very moving. But what was crazy about Jorah is he was there.
Right.
Like, he was at the protests, and he was saying to Goga, thank you. Yeah. Because that's the story, like that was the story that needed to be told, and that's the way it should have been told. And it was interesting because Goga wasn't there. He was a director who was like had researched it and was making it based on that. He was at the Black Lives Matter protests in the States, but he wasn't at the protests in Nigeria. Wow. And so he was like that. And then there was that really moving moment of everybody just seeing this man pour his heart out about what he went through and how it was reflected on screen and how appreciative it was. And so I think that as far as like best moments that I've had, I think that was one of the moments when I was the most excited about what a film festival is. And because these are the kinds of things that can only happen. Like, the only reason these 2 men were talking to each other is because Goga was able to come in via Zoom. And the only reason everybody was in such a space is because everybody was talking so openly already in that room and so willing to share.
It was a very safe, welcoming place where we're eating like delicious food and looking at like and dancing these amazing dances.
We're dancing and singing
and music. Yes,
it was just lovely.
It was incredible.
And so I think that experience was one of my favorites that I've had, where something is the best thing that happened while I was up on stage. There's also, of course, the first time the camera worked. That was we didn't know it was going to work. We never got to test it beforehand, and then we nailed like that time. Whole moment worked perfect, and everybody was so excited and so pumped. And then we're like, okay, well, this is a staple forever, I guess.
Forever now.
This is part of the festival.
Because I don't think I knew about that like until like this year.
We didn't because we did it last year and this past year as well. So we've only done it twice.
Okay, that would explain that.
And that's because once we started, the first year we filled both theaters. We tried to do something that was, again, like peek behind the curtain. Sometimes things don't work. Yeah. We tried to split filmmakers into one and just like regular Joe audience into the other theater so that the filmmakers were where the prizes were.
Makes sense.
And that was a nightmare. Oh. Because everybody wanted to sit with their friends, and and then we're like, filmmakers only, and so we're like, we're never doing that again. And so then we came up with this solution of the Camry. Actually, a year in advance, we came up with a solution, but because we only have access to the theater sometimes, we never got to test it. We could test the Zoom call, but we never got to test it.
Sometimes it just works out like that. But what a fantastic idea was, because it's efficient and it's fun, and it's so fun. Like it's memorable.
That's what we want it to be. And I will say I can only take a tiny bit of the credit for that. Anne-Marie's a comic genius. She is funnier than me by far, and that was her idea. She just wanted to shoot off confetti poppers, and she found an excuse and reason to do that. And and Brendan said, "Yeah, I can make that happen for you." And so 100% the 2 of them came up with the idea of the Camry. I just didn't shut it down. So that's the credit I get.
The one who kept it going.
Yeah, I said yes.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to pause here because our camera's this close to just shutting off. I'm like, you've probably seen me like watching like the little red dot. But yes, we will return after a little bit of break. Right.
Perfect.
That's what I think. All right. And we're back from our break.
Our 2-second break.
Our 2-second break.
You didn't take much of a break. I did, but you just ran around.
Just to stretch my legs and change the battery and make sure that the whole thing doesn't collapse. All right. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. Okay. So, the question. I had a question.
Oh, went away again. Okay, you came up with it over here.
I did.
I was talking about my films.
Yes. Okay, I have a question. I was going to ask you if you think that you need to be a filmmaker before you are a festival director, or before you can be someone that like decides that as like, or if it makes you a better decider, programmer, I think I mean.
I know what you mean. I think it's kind of you approach it with different skills. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a festival director who you just love movies and you just want to share movies. And as long as your true passion is sharing movies, then then festival directing is a great place for you. But I will say one thing that I think I'm able to bring to the table because I was a filmmaker first and because I was an artist first. But weirdly, kind of my theater background leans into this too, is our festival makes a huge effort to be very filmmaker first. It's not about the audience enjoying the films. I want the audience to enjoy the films and I want it to be there for them. And I do think when I'm programming, I'm like, how is this going to make the audience feel? Is the audience going to enjoy this? Will I be able to sell this to an audience? And these are all very important questions that festival directors have to ask. But one approach that our festival has that I think is not completely unique, but more unique in our approach is we very much are like, but how can we make this a really cool experience for the filmmaker? More so than they just get to come do the Q&A. More so than they just get to walk the red carpet. We try and do the networking events. We try to make sure that networking is valuable and important. We try to make sure that there's opportunities for them to talk to each other that are in spaces that are safer, that they're not having to be, that MC thing that I know about. And I think that comes a bit from the fact that I, as a filmmaker, have gone to festivals with my films. And not in very many cases, but in some cases it's like, oh, my film is just something in the package. It's like, oh, it's something they've put in. They like my film, but they don't really care about me.
The filmmaker.
Exactly. And I think the festivals that you can see that really care about the filmmakers, like TIFF and stuff like that, and Sundance, those festivals, I think part of the reason they stand out as such massive festivals, and Sundance is an absolutely perfect example of this, is because their goal is to support filmmakers. And the audience comes with it, but that's their goal, is we want to support the filmmaker. And that is true of the Edmonton Short Film Festival. When I was seeing it in its first year, that's how I experienced that. That's what we want our festival to be, is very much how do we support the filmmaker. And SIF and CUF, there's members of their programming team that very much lean into that, where they are like, oh, no, how can we support the filmmakers? And they collect filmmakers that they love, and they want to share that filmmaker again. And I think wanting to show film and express film is so important for a festival director, but I think there's something magical that happens when you have a festival director that wants to support filmmakers. And show off filmmakers. Like, look at this talent. Look at what we've built up.
The brain that brought the film you're watching.
Exactly. And taking that time, we've had many people. We're one of the few festivals that does the Zoom call interviews. Not a whole lot of them do the live Zoom call interviews.
Interesting. Why is that? Do you know why?
It's logistics. It is a lot to program, and it does then add in the fact that I have a Q&A at every single screening. So there's not any screening that's like, oh, and then we show it, and then you're out. It's like, audience, stay. Like,
which I like.
It
makes that, it gives you the pattern, or like.
Exactly, and they know to stay, and they know there's a reason. It was kind of funny because one of the things that I can add to my tags on our new ticketing system is filmmaker in attendance.
Right, I saw that.
And I'm like, filmmaker in attendance, filmmaker in attendance. I'm like, it doesn't make sense for me to put that tag on because it's true. It's always true that there's a filmmaker in attendance at our festival, which is really exciting because of these Zoom calls. And that's because we wanted to give an opportunity for the filmmakers internationally to be involved, because lots of the time their films go to a festival and they actually sometimes don't even get confirmation that their film actually showed.
What?
And it's like some of the stories that I've heard of, like, traveling your film around the world and like kind of the loss of control. You send it. And then it's gone. And I never want a filmmaker to experience that.
Is it just really that you like send it out and never hear back from them, and then 6 months later you find out? Like,
well, you will always hear back if they are showing your film, but you won't necessarily hear anything beyond that. So it's like, we're showing your film, send us the copy. You send them the copy, and then sometimes that's the end of the communication that you have with them. And then there's other festivals like there are many festivals around the world that are like ours, where they're jumping up and down to get to connect with the filmmakers and get to spend time with the filmmakers.
Do you have any in mind that you would recommend?
So for it depends on what level of filmmaker you are, because it's so tricky with that. It's kind of like a festival to festival situation. I think with newer filmmakers, I think the niche festivals are under subscribed in some ways. Not the horror ones, but we were talking about this already. The horror film festivals, they're fine. But really niche festivals.
Like niche, like a specific, like only dogs we accept, like dog festivals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those festivals. Now, in many of those cases, those festivals are just trying to show film.
Yeah.
Like the Calgary Justice Film Festival is a great example of a festival that's just trying to show good films that mean a lot. But for new filmmakers, it's a great way to get your film in a festival if you match that niche.
Yeah.
And get to show some really great stuff through it.
Yeah.
And then there's many children's like film festivals. These are all films for children and stuff like that. Nice. So I overall kind of think the niche ones are more the ones where it's like just somebody who really wants to show film. Yeah. And they're really passionate about showing film.
Yeah.
But those festivals are great to try and get in as a new filmmaker. And then if you are going for festivals that really care about filmmakers, the smaller ones, the ones that are tied specifically to a town, there's something really great about that, especially if it's in your local area. So for like Alberta filmmakers, I will recommend Up and Down All Day, all of the niche little film festivals that we have, like Homegrown is a great film festival that supports filmmakers. And the Edmonton Short Film Festival is a great film festival that's there for the filmmakers. And the, I don't know if CAF is still going, but Central Alberta Film Festival is a great film festival. Yeah. And it's there for the filmmakers because they want to show Alberta films. And the Okotoks Film Festival, likewise. We want to show Alberta films. That does kind of hit on another pet peeve I have with filmmakers tell me where you are and where you're from. I know it seems like you're like, well, I can just say I'm a Canadian filmmaker. But I'm like, if you're telling me in Okotoks that you're a Canadian filmmaker, I'm like, what does that mean?
Like a specific, like where are you?
Where are you?
Okay.
I want to know if you're a Calgary filmmaker. I want to know if you're a Medicine Hat filmmaker. I want to know if you're a Lethbridge filmmaker or Fort Saskatchewan. Yeah. Because that changes things. And it changes how the type of excitement I have about your film.
It's like if it was closer to Okotoks or in Okotoks, you'd be like, perfect.
Yes, absolutely. And I've had a number of filmmakers, and I love them to death for this. Yeah. They're like, well, I want to support your festival, so I'm going to pay the screening fee and submit as a short film. Okay. And I'm like, okay, but the reason I have the free submission for you is so that you tell me who you are, and I get to know that when I'm watching your film. It's not to say that if you are an Okotoks filmmaker, you're automatically in. I mean, I've rejected Okotoks films before, but it does mean that the conversation in the programming room is significantly different. Yeah.
So tell them.
Tell them where you are, and don't feel like you're cheating the system by getting the wins. Yeah. And it's not, especially for new filmmakers, they'll sometimes feel like, well, I have to get by on I've got to go get the laurels. I have to earn them. And it's like, you can earn the same laurel at my festival. If you are a best cinematography film, that you're compared against all of the other films the same way. It's not like we're going to nominate you because you're an Okotoks filmmaker or a Calgary filmmaker. But will we put your film in the festival because of that? Yes. And the laurel for the official selected is the same. And then you can take that laurel to the next festival you go to. You can take that to the Windsor Film Festival and say, look, we were shown at Okotoks. And then they're like, oh, well, we know Okotoks. We like the stuff they program. So they look at your film different. Yeah. It gets kind of tricky where it can both work for and against you. Yeah. I think if you're a newer filmmaker, you kind of run into a weird thing in the Calgary festivals for sure. Okay. Where it's like, you kind of got to pick which one you want. And like you can kind of get
like
3.
You can only choose.
Like, you can kind of get. I've noticed, like on average, I've seen a lot of filmmakers do really well at like 3 in Calgary. Okay, and then they kind of have worn out their welcome because it's a lot of the same audience.
Yeah, everyone has seen.
You won't get Sif and Cuff and Fairy Tales because the conversation in the programming room is, this one's already shown it. SIFF. Yeah, I saw it at SIFF.
Oh, so that does actually have an effect.
It does have an effect.
I had a conversation with, I think it was Trinity actually, for Operation Carl, because we had a pretty good festival run. We got off and SIFF.
Nice,
and
yes.
I remember we didn't get into this other festival, and she was like, it's because they saw we were already screened into that. And I was like, no, they don't care about that. Like,
they do.
They care about that.
They don't care. Like, so what you could do next, it's like basically if you've tapped out to festivals in a city, then go to the next city. Like Edmonton is right there.
Another city.
And then Medicine Hat, I believe, has a film festival as well. Saskatoon does, and they get excited about Alberta film as well.
Yeah.
And then so there is like kind of an unwritten rule of how many festivals you can get into with your short film in the same area.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't mean don't apply for them. It means apply for the ones that you want first.
Okay.
It's kind of the thing.
If
you're like, I really, really want to be in SIFF.
Yeah.
Don't apply for the Edmonton International until you know if you're in SIFF or not.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That checks out. Now, technically, that was like a tangent we like went on.
Yes.
The original, what was it? It was, oh my gosh.
It's that question.
It wasn't that question. We were talking about something about off. It was something about off. What was it?
Oh
it was,
gosh.
I had,
We've tangent too much.
We've tangent too close to the sun.
Oh, can you be a festival director?
Yes, thank you. And so you were kind of talking about how it does like make you a better, or it helps you make the festival better for the filmmaker specifically, because you are a filmmaker yourself and you understand how it feels to be on that other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know how to approach those sides of things. Now, I will say I also have a lot of experience in theater festivals.
Right.
So the Edmonton Fringe Festival and the Improvaganza Festival are two festivals in Edmonton that I grew up in, and they're both big theater festivals.
Yeah.
And theater festivals, in a way that is not the norm in film festivals, will go out of their way for their artists.
Yeah.
It's like the artist badge is like worth its weight in gold. Like you walk into a restaurant and you get discounts during the Edmonton Fringe and that sort of thing. It's crazy.
What?
And I think because those, like, part of the same reason why I, as a filmmaker, I was like, ooh, I liked this that this festival did for me. I didn't like this that this festival did for me. Having been in the theater festivals, I like this that they do for theater artists, and I don't like this that they do for theater artists. And those kind of weigh into our festival specifically.
And take inspiration. Kinda.
Exactly. Because for theater artists, they have to be there.
Yeah.
You can't do it without them. A film festival, and this has always been something bizarre to me, is that you can do a film festival without ever talking to the artists.
Yeah.
And that's so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I aim for, is that you never have a moment when you're not talking to the artist. And that kind of comes from my theater background, because I'm like, well, but it's the artist's film. They did it. Like, this is their stuff. And so putting the effort into making sure that they are the ones being shown off and celebrated is very important to me.
Yeah.
And so I think that comes from my theater background, because it's like, I'm like, well, we need the artists there. What are you talking about? But technically for a film festival, you don't, which is very weird, which is why when you're asking, can you be, like, if you're not a filmmaker, can you be a good festival director? Yeah, absolutely. Because the addition of the filmmakers is a bonus to a film festival, but it's not what makes the festival happen.
Yeah.
And so I love the festivals that put a lot of effort into making sure that they have those people. And like I said, many of the festivals that I've gotten to touch and work with have definitely done just that.
Yeah.
But then there are others that it's like, no, we're focused on the films. The filmmaker kind of comes after.
They're like focused on the audience almost.
Exactly. Yeah. And so those are kind of the two differences that I find. And I think having grown up in theater festival programming and then also as a filmmaker approaching festivals, my attitude towards them have kind of become that.
Well, that's really clear because, like you mentioned, like you can't really do theater virtually. Like it's all there. And also when the show ends, it ends. You can't go back and like rewatch unless you record it. But even that's not the same as just being in the room where it happens.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you mentioned like you said that you grew up with like theater programming kind of thing. So can you tell me a little bit about that and how theater is like in your life? Because that's not much I know about you. Like I know you more of a programmer and like a festival director.
And that's kind of interesting because it's actually like the bigger part of my life is the theater side of me. So when I was quite young, my mom became the general manager of Rapid Fire Theater.
Yeah.
Which is a improv theater company in Edmonton.
Okay.
That they are the ones who host Improvaganza and put on Improvaganza, which is this massive comedy festival that they do every year.
Okay.
And she was actually part of the company when they started it.
Oh, so she was there on the ground.
Yeah, she was right there when they started, not when they started Rapid Fire, but when they started Improvaganza specifically. She was right there with it. They also have another one, a high school festival called the Nose Bowl. And so because of that, I kind of always got to be in and around artists that were not superstar artists. I mean, they are to me, but they weren't superstars, but they were making a living as artists. And so in that way, it was kind of encouraged for me as a human to approach arts as like, oh no, this is something that you can make money at. Like you don't have to make a lot of money. You don't. In the arts, you don't. You don't make a lot.
You won't.
You won't, yeah. But it is something that you can make a career out of, is working in the arts. And so I, like all through my junior high and high school years, I was kind of backstage of this improv company and going
like a tech person kind of?
No, just there.
Oh, just watching from the distance.
Yeah, just being amongst it. I was. The joke was that it was like Rapid Fire's little sister. It's like, oh, she's here. I would pretend to be stage manager when I was younger, like when I was like 11. And they'd be like, "Do you want to go give the 5-minute call?" And I'd be like, 5 minutes. So proud of myself. And so because of that, I was always in it. And so then when the opportunities came for me to be in theater, it just was natural for me to start being in theater. But because I'd been so close to the producing side of theater and stuff like that, like the sides of producing and directing were just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah. And so then I went to theater school in Red Deer for their program's gone now, but I went to the Red Deer College theater program, and then right after that, because they had film, I rolled over into the film program. Right. Not because film was kind of my passion and my art and what my life was leading towards, but just because it was the obvious rollover for that program. Yeah. And so then I took the film program, and then right after college, I moved to Vancouver to go try and be an actor. And while I was there, I immediately learned I wanted to be a director.
Like, never mind.
Never mind. I don't want to be an actor. I want to be a director. So then I moved back to Edmonton, and it was in that time that I had directed my 2 films and acted in the Be the Hero one. I came back to Edmonton. I lived there for 2 years, and then I moved to Okotoks and started the film festival.
Wow.
And so it's kind of interesting how like my art life has kind of come full circle, where almost producing a film festival is more like producing a theater show than it is anything to do with film.
You're going back to your roots, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually, when you're asking, like, do you have to be a filmmaker to be a good festival producer?
Yeah.
No, I don't think you need to be a filmmaker. I think you need to be a theater producer.
Oh,
because it's
interesting
basically
take.
just that.
So if you want to be a film festival director, look into theater.
Look into theater. Look into theater. Weirdly, festival directors go to theater.
I feel like a lot of film and theater like overlap in a lot of ways. A lot of people I meet have also done theater. I think one of the programmers, I don't know her name, but she was at the breakfast. I was like sitting with her.
Yeah, Raud Amsel.
She does like theater stuff, and she was talking about like I forget which theater company, but it was really cool. So there is a lot of like overlap.
Absolutely, and I think that just comes from. When you're doing theater, you're running a live show. Yeah. Like it's got to happen. Like we said, the artists have to be there.
Yeah.
Film, you can, and I kind of love it. Film, you can go back and check a number of times, and you can go back and get it perfect.
I love
which
that.
Which is so good. But theater, you can't.
That freaks me out.
And they're 2 completely different, amazing things. Like they're both amazing, cool skill sets in that way. Actually, since we're tangenting, kind of again. Yes. Anyway, recently somebody asked me the question, what is the difference between film and theater? And I was like, geez, oh gosh, I don't know. But then I think I kind of came up with an answer to that question, which is, so film, the beauty of the art form of film is it's so true and honest. You have to completely immerse your audience in exactly where you say they are.
Yeah.
If you say they are in a submarine underwater, it has to sound like they are. It has to look like they are. They have to act like they are. It has to be lit like they are.
Yeah.
The entire world has to feel closed in because you have to create 100%.
Yeah.
Without the audience having to imagine a thing, you have to create this submarine.
Yeah.
And that's impossible.
Yeah.
And filmmakers do it all the time. But then on the complete opposite side, in the other most magnificent, beautiful way, if you tell me in a play that I need to put them in a submarine underwater, I just have to light the stage in blue, put 2 stools there, put the actors on there, and they say, we'll surface soon. And the audience is like, yeah, we're in a submarine. I'm with you.
And that's it.
And that's it. Like, the audience is so willing to believe on behalf of the theater. Like, they're like, I'm ready to go there with you and believe that we're in a submarine.
Is it because it's in person? Like, and that's why it's able to convince audience members
And
easier?
I think it's because the art form, it necessitates it. Like, you can't, with a theater show, they know you can't go in a submarine because they'd have to go too.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't go to a submarine. So I'm willing to believe that this is a submarine. And they're willing to go with it and believe it 100%.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing about film is because you have that time to make it perfect ahead of time.
Yeah.
The audience expects that they can kind of just shut off and let that happen to them.
Yeah.
Whereas, so it's kind of what you're asking of the audience is the difference between theater and film.
Yeah.
Is film, you're asking them to just enjoy and go on that journey with you. But in theater, you're asking them to help you go on that journey.
Wow. So you like the audience has to go in with already like a little bit of like belief with it before.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like, I have to be willing to play.
Yeah. And that makes sense why some people just will not get into theater.
Oh,
like
never
they'll go in and be like, well, this isn't a submarine.
Yeah.
So
exactly. I'm gonna go back to film.
Like, I want to watch something where we're in a submarine.
And don't make me work for it.
Well, exactly. It does take more like work from the audience. So I always, and that's why there's the stereotype. I think more like theater people are artsy, and that's why you probably get that kind of like architect. It's like I want to put in the work too. Like actually, like have you seen like the Hamilton like a recording? Like
I've seen pieces of it, but I have not seen all of it yet.
Because what's really interesting about that is that I don't think anything's. Well, probably something's been made, and this one's the more mainstream one. But it's the first time I have seen like a theater piece be shot like a film. So you see close-ups, you see zoom-ins, you see back, like shots from behind on like theater. You don't watch theater the way you're watching that like movie essentially, but it was recorded live. So all the actors are there, and it's hard because sometimes you forget that it's live. Because there's a bunch of cutting. And probably there was, like, pauses. And
probably there was.
Different.
And I'm sure that, well, those artists specifically, the Hamilton cast, they do that 8 times a week.
Yeah.
So it's like, they know how to do this. Yeah. But I wonder, I kind of would have loved to be a fly on the wall for that experience for them. Because being asked to stop and do it again.
Oh, my God.
And having to, that's another thing about, as far as artists are concerned, especially on the acting side of it, because I did both theater and film acting.
Yeah.
The cool thing about theater acting is you get the chance to go on the whole emotional journey.
Yeah.
Whereas with film acting, you have to pull the sad out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you don't get to build into it in the same way. And that's something that's, I think, tricky for theater artists to do when coming to film is you have to understand the entire story so completely.
Yeah.
And you have to trust your director. I think in film acting, there's more trust on the director that it's like, you need to set me up 3 days from now for me to be able to cry at this level that I'm going to cry for you now. And then the director's like, yeah, I'm going to do that with you. And so that's something that's kind of cool about film is the behind the scenes of film in so many ways. I love the behind the scenes of theater. Yeah. The behind the scenes of film is so much cooler.
Yeah. I'm going to say something that maybe is controversial, maybe is even wrong, but it's as someone who loves theater, loves film, this is just a thought that's been on my head. I have always just noticed that a big difference with theater and film is that theater is very like actor-centric, I would almost say, and film is almost very crew-centric.
Yes.
Obviously, actors are important in both, But just the fact that like the actors usually have to bend to the crew, like, oh, sorry, the camera's not there. Sorry, the audio messed up, and they have to stop and reset. And on stage, the actor, like, if you mess up the line cue, you're messing them up more than anything, and you gotta try to give them light so then they can continue with the performance.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
I think there is a way, like, and as far as the audience is concerned, the actors are the same.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, is that audiences watch it and they're like, oh, the actor is the most important thing in this piece.
Yeah.
Whether it's film or theater, that's the way they view
They're
it.
the face of the project.
But I do agree with you 100% that, and I think this might be why I've gone back towards theater directing than film directing, is because I love that interplay with my actors and getting to spend that time with my actors to get it right for them.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the show can serve what they're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas with film, it was like, I need you to do this
Yeah.
because this light is going to come in here, and if
you
got to hit that light because it's not moving because it's perfect this way.
Sweating profusely. Yeah, it's a lot of just moving pieces, and the actors have to be ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's two completely different skill sets as far as the actors are concerned. Completely different skill sets and completely different amounts of ego, I think, are needed too.
Well, let's take a break on that note, but remind me to come back to it because I'm kind of interested in this.
Deal.
This hot take. All right, so we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Okay. All right, that was not a break, technically, not by definition, but we just had to get right back into it right after resetting everything.
Absolutely.
All right, but everything's good. Tell me more about this. About what you were saying.
Ego?
Yes, because you said like depending on which like medium it is, theater, film, it can like change that. Yeah,
well, like there has to be, like, actors are doing the thing that is the second biggest fear to most human beings. It's like, go in front of people and talk.
Yep. Talk, and we will film it or show it to other people.
Exactly. And so I think it does take, like, it's almost like, I remember one time we even talked about it as like, do we all have like a mental disability that is putting us in a place where like that fear sensor is just not firing the way it should? Because you're calling attention to yourself in a way that like human nature does not like easily allow for.
Not for safety reasons. It hasn't ever been
exactly
the right thing to do.
And so I feel like for theater acting, you have to have that ego that lets you just stand in front of a bunch of people and just talk and and be okay with not being okay in front of people in that way and being so silly.
In a way, like
so
maybe
big.
like selfishness, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
Like in a way you need to do it to be able to do the job.
Exactly. It serves the audience, and you know that. So you know you're there helping the audience, but you're also like doing this ridiculousness.
You have to do your job. You have to do
exactly. It's like, do your job, get on stage, cry.
Yeah.
It's like, what? But then the ego of the film actor that's kind of different is because acting is not like acting is reacting is a saying that is often said, right? And with film acting, because the camera's like right here, you have to be so sure of your ability to express yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to be so sure of your own emotion and being comfortable sitting in it. And it's a kind of openness that I like. Theater actors are very open as well, but not in the same way, because the film actor, like the tear can be subtle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas on stage, there's a little bit that you're trying to project it out, right? Yeah. So you're like throwing it away and it's not really you. But with film, it is really you. And that's what I mean by the different types of ego, because you have to be on theater, the hey, look at me. Yeah. I'm the funniest thing in the room. Yeah. Don't look at anything else.
The clown, the entertainer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with the film artist, the ego is like, I am so like important to this moment.
Yeah.
That even like that I can bring people into right where I am.
So you have to believe that for it to work.
Yeah. And you have to feel comfortable sharing that with people that you don't even ever see. Yeah. Like the theater artists will see. Like they need the instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
But film artists have to be so sure of what choices they're making.
Yeah.
Because they don't get the instant gratification.
Right.
At all.
But what about the director? Because like, doesn't the director kind of like the relationship between actor and director? The director has to the actor has to have the trust in the director that the director's seeing it and thinking, okay, we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, and that's in both cases.
Right.
You have to trust your director. And you want to talk about ego?
Well, there you go.
Directors have such a cool thing that they bring to the entire process of film and theater.
Yeah.
In that they're the big picture, right? Like, you know this. You direct.
The amount of faith you have to have in your own thoughts and ideas.
My idea is the best one.
And hope it doesn't waste everyone's time. And then send it off to people, and then other people watch it, and they're watching you watch it, and then
exactly, right? Oh my gosh. And then in film, there's something that you can do as a director where you get to keep picking at it forever.
And I love that. That's why I don't do theater as much. I love film. I love getting to make it as perfect as possible.
You have to completely let it go. It's bonkers. The times when I'm watching things go wrong, I'm like, there's nothing I can do about this.
just there's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, so that's interesting that it's not ego in the sense of you usually think actors are I'm the best and I'm the only one that matters here.
I will say with complete confidence, I have never met an actor or director who actually, honest to God, thinks they're the best.
Really?
They all think they're the second best or third or worst. They're all it's just well, I did it and I guess people liked it. It's that seeking gratification all the time. And every director and actor I know is doing that more than they are full of themselves.
Yeah.
But the willingness to put themselves in front of people is crazy.
You're
crazy
right.
dumb.
It is kind of like a mental illness. What are you doing? That is so fascinating. The whole that you need to have the selfishness, you need to have this ego if you're gonna do the job right.
Oh yeah.
I think you're not too good for this job to be good at this job, kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we all know that the only actors getting hired are people that people like. So not the jerk ones.
So you do have experience as acting in theater then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that kind of that process like for you? Or I guess that's not a good question. I think just what was a day in the life of you as an actor in comparison to you now getting to be a behind the scenes person in a different whole medium even?
Yeah. So I guess with directing, or not with directing, with acting, there was a bit where I really get to focus on one character, right?
Yeah.
And so you really get to create this, mold this person that you are going to be. And it's what animal do they like? And there's a lot of sitting in circles and, feeling movement and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
It for a long time.
The stuff that's stereotypical theater.
That is what theater school is like, 100%. It was a lot of focusing very much on myself and my own practice, which is kind of why I call the whole experience of acting very egotistical, because it was very much what do I need? What do I need right now to get where I need to go? And it was, and then the only other person who would ever matter is the other person who's across from you in the scene.
Yeah.
And finding out how to play with them and how to connect with them and stuff like that. So basically, one of the shows I did was Treasure Island. I played Jim Hawkins.
Cool.
And that one was really cool because I'd get ready for the show downstairs with everybody.
Yeah.
But because of the way the show was structured, I'd go upstairs in costume and they'd go and the entire cast was on stage for about 5 minutes.
But not you.
But not me. So they're on stage all together for 5 minutes at the very top of the show. Yeah. And then I enter.
Right.
As they all exit. And I didn't leave the stage after that, except for intermission. And so it was.
So you're on the whole time?
I was, yeah. Oh. And sometimes it was very passive on. Okay. There's one scene where Jim's hiding in a barrel. Yeah. And I jumped in the barrel.
Okay. So you get to hide it.
And then I just sat there for 25 minutes.
Best performance of your life.
Because the whole thing was I'm supposed to be listening in on this conversation, and it's I heard the conversation. So the barrel had a thing that I could remove and peek out, but the director didn't want me distracting the whole time. So I'd peek out for a minute and then I'd put the thing back and then I'd
back to just
sit in the barrel. So I was on stage, but not on stage.
That's really interesting. Like, what goes through your mind when you're in that? Because are you acting or are you waiting?
You're waiting. You're waiting. You're definitely waiting.
I guess no need to act. Like, I don't know why you would.
Like,
maybe to stay in character.
Yeah, to kind of, I guess. But I'd heard the conversation like 100 times.
That is another thing with theater, is that there's more rehearsal. So it starts to become muscle memory a lot of the time.
Exactly. And that's actually the thing in theater that as an artist that you really try and keep is not the muscle memory.
Oh,
it's like,
you don't want to do
don't want to just fall into routine.
Yeah.
And there is times where you'll kind of like drift off on stage and then you'll come up and you're like, 45 minutes has gone by. Whoops. But
that's more like getting the groove, no?
Exactly, yeah. But I think the most important thing on theater that you can ever give to your other theater actors is the willingness to listen for the first time. Oh. And I mean, with the barrel aside, nobody could see me. They couldn't see me. They weren't affected by me not listening to them. And it was 25 minutes.
Oh my God.
But they would be talking to each other, right? And it's like you hope that they're listening and hearing each other as if it's for the first time, because that's when theater is really alive, when you're not just going through the emotions and waiting for your line, when you're, trying to interact with people on the stage. And that's when I'm seen. It's like, be seen. Like make sure that the audience can see you and make sure that the other actors can see you as well. And then kind of the transition from, I guess the transition more happened from theater to director, or like from theater acting to directing.
Directing theater, directing film?
Both.
Okay.
I just, started directing.
Okay.
I was like, I just like directing.
Theater directing.
And it's kind of
directing.
Because of that silo. Because when you're acting, you care so much about one thing. Yeah. And then the lighting guy cares so much about one thing, and the sound person and the costumes. Yeah. And I love that. Yeah. That they're all just so hyper focused. But the thing I realized about directing is but I want to have kind of a sort of a touch on all of it, like a say on all of it. And so that's when I started realizing that I liked directing more, was when I was acting and wanting to be a part of the bigger picture. Yeah. It's like, I want to have a say in the set, but I don't.
Right. Because actor, you are the character.
Yeah. It's like they tell you kind of where the set's going to be, and then that's what you do. Yeah. Less so than in film, because in theater, it's like, we designed this for you based off that you doing this rehearsal. And so it was really kind of that made my transition, was having the but I'd read a script and I'd be like, I want to see how this whole thing comes to life. Yeah. And then with acting, it's like, but do this. Yeah. Focus in on this one.
You don't get to think about how the character's going to look in the lighting or the sound and music.
Like, what's it going to sound like? It doesn't matter. All I care about is what Jim's thinking. Yeah. And so that was kind of the transition from acting to directing, kind of came from that wanting to focus on all the pieces. Yeah. And I think that's where the transition to the festival came, to come full circle on that, is being able to focus on all the pieces. And being a festival director is the excitement that I get about knowing that all of these things are happening because we put them in motion.
And what an incredible festival director you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Again, the imposter syndrome is real.
But truly, because again, I was there. I saw you. I was at the Nigerian screening. I saw the whole thing play out. It was amazing.
I was amazing. I was wow.
Because this is what it's all about. That moment, that we talked about earlier, that's what it's all about, is that, that community building. And again, that's why you're, such an incredible artist and community builder, I would say.
Oh, thank you.
You bring people together. And again, at the after party, I was like, my lighting's kind of messed up. And you're like, you know who you should talk to? And then you pointed me in the direction. So it's just, it's bringing people together, it's bringing your community together. And again, that's why I wanted you on this podcast. Because
thank you.
You do the message of the podcast in real time in a way that inspires so many people, including myself.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot. It's definitely something that I want the festival to be, and I want every aspect of my life to be about community and bringing the people together, lifting people up. It honestly, it feels better to me when somebody else is succeeding outside of me, which I love.
Yeah. Well, on the last note then, before we probably wrap up, because we're like getting there, like it's been
we talked for a minute.
A couple minutes now, yeah. But just to circle back on specifically the difference between because I think I like triggered you into a tangent. Like,
everything triggers me into a tangent. But don't feel like that was you.
It happens. But what was it? It was the main difference you noticed between like, I think it was acting in theater versus now like being that festival director or even just like directing and having, or I think, more specifically festival director where you're more behind the scenes.
Yeah, like how the transition kind of feels, I guess. Well, one thing that I will always say is I've never regretted any experience that I've had.
Yeah.
Whether it's been directing a film, it's been working on a, like elementary school theater project. It's been sitting backstage giving the 11-minute call.
Yeah.
Or it's been, talking to international filmmakers and, negotiating contracts for us to screen films at the festival. It's kind of like the skills that I've picked up along the way. Yeah. Like every single experience has been something that gets used now in the festival actively.
Wow.
Whether intentionally or not, it's always there. It's when you ask about hosting, it's like, well, that always is coming back to that. That voice, breathing in my voice classes. I'm like, okay. And now I go talk onto a mic and, like learning how to talk into a microphone. That was part of my experience, like in theater school, and learning how to create the emotional arc of a shorts package comes from my directing. And it's like, how do I want the audience to feel in the end? How do these things connect to each other? What are we going to next? Like, does this make sense? Does this flow? And then also on the producing side, it's like, how do we really make this one stand out? Or like, how do we elevate the experience for the audience or for the filmmaker? Everything kind of comes back to the experiences that I've had in the past.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I've transitioned from an actor to a festival director, I feel like even though it doesn't seem like the normal trajectory, for me it was like it was always going to end there. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's obvious. Always where we were going.
It was fate.
Because it's like from that first time walking on stage, it was like, oh, this is what that feels like. Yeah. That, and then carrying that through and seeing people build things. It's like build arts programs and build arts companies. It's like, oh, I can do that too. And so all of it kind of, the transition seems weird, but also it's like having lived my life, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was always the way.
Couldn't have happened any other way.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's all like transferable skills, right? That's what my mom says all the time.
Exactly.
Don't do film, use it for transferable skills. But but yeah, like it's just stuff you learn that you can then use in other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's always a way that it can connect back. And all of the confidence, like the overabundance of confidence that I have from being a theater actor and that ego we were talking about, it definitely leans over into the overabundance of being able to start a film festival.
Yeah, 45 minutes of freestyling, essentially.
Sure, let's go do this. This will be great. So I'd say whatever like thing that you're doing, it's like there's, even if you can't make it doing exactly that thing, there's something akin to it that is equally rewarding, if not more so, that you can do.
And you'll find that.
You'll find it. And you could find it, just because a boy asked you to move to Okotoks, but you'll find it.
You'll find it regardless. Well, incredible. Because again, I truly did. I brought you here knowing you did some theater, and I know that you I did the research. I saw that like the films that you did, but I mainly knew you as a festival director, which was almost like the final like step in all this huge journey. And not even the final step. You got.
Oh, who knows what's going on next?
Yeah, who knows? But it's the step you're like
on right now.
It's the step, you're on right now, and the one I guess know you the most for. But knowing that you've done all this stuff and all these steps leading up to it, that makes you incredible.
Honestly, I couldn't be more proud that I'm known as the Okotoks Film Festival director. Like that is, that's my baby. So
it's proud. You should be proud of it. It's done a lot for like me and so many other people. Like it's an important thing that exists.
I love that.
Yeah.
So glad.
Okay. Well, on that note, thank you, Katie, so much for coming on this podcast. Where can people find you? Social media plugins, everything.
Oh, hilariously, I run a bunch of social media accounts.
Perfect.
If you want to know about the film festival, at Okotoks Film Festival or okotoksfilmfestival.ca, there's plenty of information there. And if you message us on any of the social media accounts, there's like a 97% chance that I'm the one who's going to answer you. And then also, I have another social media account, which is Erratic Players, which is my theater company that I'm currently working on with Logan Coots. And we do theater around the Foothills area. That's kind of a newer venture. So those are my two big plugs. And at Fantasy by Numbers is my husband's company who runs Enchanted Okotoks, which we didn't even get into the other events that I run, but I run with him. It's kind of a trade-off. He runs the film festival with me. I run Enchanted Okotoks with him. And so at Fantasy by Numbers, if you want to know information about Okotoks' fantasy event.
Check it out. And also, Okotoks has open submissions.
Yes,
for 2026.
We open on September 1st. We are open until March 31st, so you can submit your films. Make sure to tell me where you're from.
Yes, do that and then submit.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Amazing. Well, again, thank you so much, Katie. It was a pleasure to have you on here. Again, I've been itching to have you on this podcast for the longest time, so I'm so glad that I could have you on.
Thank you. I'm so glad that I was able to come and chat with you. It's always fun to talk.
And thank you again for driving in from Okotoks to be here.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. All right. Again, I never know how to end this. It's so awkward. I just kind of start
great. You're great. We're like, now
away.
We scooch the chairs out.
We just slowly leave the frame.